Him who knows that I know what he seeks to know, knows it well, while he who knows not what I know, or know not.
Oi there, I'm Mr. McFacepunch. You can call me Chainsaw. Welcome to episode 6 of our Dragon's Dogma lore run. Last time we got our pawn by proving our tireless spirit of self-improvement. And, yeah, this episode's gonna be a pretty packed one. So, hold on to your seats or whatever. We don't want to talk to Mercedes, because that'll start the next quest. And we have a lot to do before we do the next quest. Alright, let's make our way back to Cassardis. There should be quite a bit of new dialogue. So, we got ourselves a pawn, and we're going to go tell our folks about it. Ooh, goblins! Already dead.
Tis your hometown, is it not, Arisen?
Ah, the venerable Arisen returns. Are you come to lead the pawns in a quest to slay the dragon? Those equivocal husks. Will or nill, the Arisen is always drawn to the dragon, as puppets strung in fate's own thread. Many have come before you, eager to stand tall atop the grand capstone of worldly truth that is the dragon. Arrogance. The dragon is ever born anew into the world, and with it too, the Arisen. All Arisen seek out the dragon, but lucky are the few who attain an audience with the beast, while yet they live. Ours is a weak, fragile world, and little within it is more frail than man. In yon encampment they gather up their knights and hired steel. They think to grow their numbers and hunt the dragon. But they shall soon learn their lot will e'er be as prey.
Alright, so, medieval Palpatine jump scare. That was pretty fun. So, interesting thing, he says, will or nil, the Arisen is always drawn to the dragon. That's actually just not true. That's literally just a straight up lie. I mean, it's not a lie because he doesn't know any better. But when you meet with the dragon, and when you actually see the whole thing play out, it's emphasized over and over again that it's your own will that leads you there. That all you had to do was go away. The whole narrative around destiny in Dragon's Dogma 1 is that, like, there is no, like, one set fate. It's whatever you will it to be. Just like with the opening with Bitter Black Isle, Olra says, I ask you, is that a fate you chose, or whatever. Hey, there's the lady I was talking about. We are not going to worry about this, like, at all. Because this is its own can of worms that until we, like, really get through the base game, there's no point in even trying to explain Bitter Black Isle. Because it follows the rules, but it breaks the rules, but it breaks the rules in a way that follows the rules. But in order to understand how it's breaking the rules in a way that follows the rules, you have to understand the rules first, you know? If that makes sense. Yeah, so the will or nil thing, not true. He's just wrong. And there are some NPCs that are, like, they're just wrong, but what's funny is, like, there's almost always narrative to go along with why they're wrong. Since will is such a deep theme in the game, like, it's true that your path leads to the dragon, but it's because you're the kind of guy who will fight the dragon. You already will it. So it's not will or nil. If if you go and run away, you will literally just not worry about it until the end of time, or until somebody else beats the dragon. Okay. Actually, the Elysian has a special tale right from Capcom. Isn't that lovely? So we're gonna read that. It's really interesting because the Elysian's tale isn't like just about the Elysian. You also get a lot of backstory on Salvation, which is really cool. Right, I got it. Here it is. It took the dragon only seconds to wipe entire nations from the map of the world. One of the nations which the dragon had utterly destroyed had been large and powerful, enough so that if not for the dragon's attack, it may well have come out the victor of the endless strife. So that's another thing. The endless strife is a historical event that isn't really expanded on in the games. But it was not a tragedy without survivors, and among those few who lived through the horrors of that attack was the son of the king, the prince of this lost country. One of his eyes, wounded in his flight from the
Something about
dragon's
this
attack,
tale seems
began to fester,
wrong.
and before long the pestilence would claim his life. He took his rage and regret and transmitted them to the page via ink and quill. As the racking fever and pain gripped his body, he came to one conclusion: humans deserved to be destroyed. The world and its people clearly needed to be purged by the dragon's claws, to be reborn anew. He titled his writings The Testament of Hopeless Regret. The existence of this text eventually led to the creation of a continent-wide secret society named Salvation. The testament came to be blazoned always with the mark of a single eye, the remaining eye. This is most likely why Salvation favors the use of Cyclops, which they call the beasts that beckon destruction. Then, many years later, one young man performed an unheard act. Before a large gathering of his Salvation brethren, he tore out his own right eye. Where he came from or what brought him to the doors of salvation is unknown. What is known is that he believed that in giving up his eye, he remade himself in the image of salvation's creator, and impressed upon his brethren that this was the man who could lead their cause to success. Just as he had desired, the young man quickly rose through the ranks and eventually became their great leader, the one who guided them, and was given the name Elysian, to refer to the
The rifle
paradise
that
that they
saves me
expect
surely
to
has its
follow
own
death.
trials.
To be named after this idea illustrated the organization's faith in the Elysian, that he would bring about such a paradise for all. The significant expectations placed upon him by the organization were again demonstrated when he, the great leader, was sent in person to Grancis after the dragon appeared. There are even whispers among the other members of Salvation that the great leader Elysian is in fact a descendant of the prince who originally penned the Testament of Hopeless Regret, and that his heritage is why the organization places so much faith in him. Okay, that's the end. So, I'm very quick to admit when I'm wrong. And my favorite example of that is when someone pointed this out to me, that the remaining eye is a symbol of Salvation's original, or the author of the Testament of Hopeless Regret, who then founded Salvation. Because I thought that the remaining eye was like an evil eye, which, if you know the lore behind it, it's the eye of a dragon that remained after death. So the dragon focuses all its magical energy into its eye, that then turns into a new creature. So I thought, or I put out the theory that the remaining eye was like a reference to the evil eye or whatever. It's not. It's a reference to that author guy. Yeah, so that's fun. Lots of stuff about salvation, lots of stuff about the Elysian. Very good. Okay, before we do any quests, We should run around and talk to people.
It seems the dragon left many injured in its wake.
Well, Madeleine,
your
this
travel
is a
preparations
fine bit of
complete?
fortune you've come into. Come to Grand Soren with riches in mind, instead find only cravens cowed by dragon fear. The streets are chaos, my goods ruined or lost.
Oh boy, look, it's everybody's favorite medieval e-girl, Madeline.
Oh, I know you. You took up steel and drove the dragon from Cassardis, yes? I heard about that. And of course you know me. I come here now and again to restock my wares. You do recall me, yes? Madeleine, finest peddler in all Grancis? Ravishing beauty of legend and song? Madeleine. Well, no matter. I've bigger problems. These are dark days, so terrible as to drive even I to the brink of tears. And yet, just when I need the aid of one both clever and strong, you arrive. Truly, fortune means us to partner together. Don't you agree? Only a fool could mistake the thread of destiny what links us. You will be my savior true, and after me, the world entire. And with that, we must be off. I trust you know of the encampment outside the village. I must travel there with all speed, but the wilds are perilous of late. Would you see me there safely?
Right, now we get to escort Madeline. But she's gonna have to just accompany us while we talk to people.
'Tis not far from here to the encampment. The girl will be fine.
Business is better of late. I dare course you'd never mistake our sleepy village for a bustling marketplace, even in the best of times. But even a return to our modest custom is welcome indeed. What can I do you for? Take care now.
Are you certain?
Our chief suffers in these times. That there was some way to help him. They say when a dragon appears, it portends doom on all surrounding lands. I know of villagers that packed all and struck out for safer waters after an attack. I'll only flee if the chief demands it.
What a lady, Mayra. She's a good one.
Heard you've got yourself a few pawns to shove around, eh? I've one thing to say on them pawns. They ain't from the maker, and I don't trust them. I suppose that was two things. They say the pawns spawn whenever times are dire. To hear some tell it, they come to aid us. But I'll believe that when I see it. And maybe not even then.
Marin's funny. In Marin's little, mildly racist rant, um, he highlights that pawns show up when times are dire, which is interesting because that's also when Arisen show up.
These days, you've got to watch.
Okay,
Just
he's
what
not
is your
saying
aim,
anything new.
sir? Let's be on our way.
You pipe down, Madeline. We'll go when I'm getting
I
ready.
yet cannot fathom how you drove that terrible worm from the village. That dragon has ill timing for true. I was near to closing several deals in Grand Soren when it struck. You should pursue a future yourself in the capital, you know. One who can face down a dragon would find no shortage of clients. 'Tis a shame monsters forced the mountain pass what leads there closed. We have the dragon to thank for that as well. I make for the encampment to speak with the guard captain and learn when they will reopen the pass. True, there are other ways to the capital, other paths. But enough idle chatter, we should move. You'll find naught but the finest wares here.
So, there are other ways to the capital, but it doesn't do you any good. If you feel adventurous and want to go check it out, it's closed off. You're not allowed in. Also, if you go to the Great Wall encampment this early in the game, they just like say, what are you doing out here?" Like, because I don't know. I think that's like a little subtle nod from the devs, like, dude, you're weird. Go do the stuff you're supposed to do. But yeah, more stuff about the dragon driving the monsters off the mountain and causing it to flood the regular population. Pretty cool.
Thank you very much.
Let's see if she has any cool items with fun descriptions. Daggers of such deathly cold that even the blood they draw is frozen in an instant. Their ice enchantment is everlasting. That's kind of crazy. Staff infused with an all-consuming flame by a master sorcerer.
Rock-consuming fire!
Very cool. A staff charged with shocking power by a master sorcerer. Sounds less cool. Staff blessed with divine might by a master sorcerer. Okay. The all-consuming flame was hard to follow up, I guess. A copper magical bow, forgiving even for budding archers. Bow of magical iron, easy to work, clerical cap. Half-helm favored by those who serve the Maker. Despite its elaborate design, it is suitable for everyday use. A metal headpiece donned by magic users to focus their mental energies on the arcane. A crown of layered tan hide. Light, sturdy, and highly resistant to magical attack. A golden crown modeled after a fabled magical tree. A green hood woven from magical fibers. Popular across the land for its understated style. Okay, so here's something we remember I talked about like colors and elements and stuff in the last video. This is a green hood woven from magical fibers. So remember, colors have magical significance. It goes really deep. Like it's super giga thinking turbo nerd stuff. This is kind of weird. So green is associated with growth, but also the wyvern's scales are green. Like they drop a scale, it's a virid scale. Like it's literally just stated to be green. Like I don't know how green they look to me, but they're stated to be green. So the wyverns are green and they have lightning. So notice this, it's green magical fibers, and it grants lightning resistance. So I think that's pretty cool. One thing, so as far as colors go, you'll notice that the vocations are also colored. So yellow is for like Strider and Archer, or like the Archer classes. But the colors that represent magical significance and stuff like that, it's green, yellow, blue, and red. So the only one missing of those colors in the vocations is green. So when all the speculation about like Dragon's Dogma 2, like what color they're going to add for a new base vocation, I threw out there that it would almost have to be green just because of the previous design and like the consistent design, given how consistent the design is around the colors. Like green would have to be the choice. And like there was a surprising amount of pushback on that. Whatever. I ended up being right. The thief is green. So it makes me wonder the type of lesser dragon an arisen becomes depends on their vocation. I wonder if like if we get more dragonkin in Dragon's Dogma 2, is the wyvern going to be like previously a thief and then they're going to have something separate for the archer, or how's that going to work? I don't know. Either way, like I said, pay attention to colors and elements. Um, there's not, it's mostly consistent. Um, like here we go again. Twilight Hood, a jet black hood crafted to keep the enemy from recognizing one's face. It's magic because it's a, magic gear. But it's black hood, resistance to dark. It's pretty consistent. It's not like always perfect, but it's pretty consistent. A hood affixed with a magical crown, quilted with griffin feathers that lend extra resilience to attack. So you would think the griffin feathers would make it resistance to lightning, but that's okay. Here we go. A red hood woven from magical fibers, and it grants resistance to fire. Red fire. And here's another one. A red vest dyed with material of alchemic origin, and it gives you resistance to fire. Light armor modeled after the King of Beasts, reinforced by a great number of linked iron rings. A robe of the deepest red that some claim was dyed by the dragon's own blood. So, deepest red, resistance to fire. Runic bangles. Metal bracelets etched with incantations that ward against calamity. Dusk shoes, jet black shoes that melt into the evening darkness. Resistant to dark, very cool. Jet black shoes that melt into the night. Lightweight for dancing through the shadows. Dancing, that's interesting. I mean, it's not interesting. I just get like a goofy image of someone hee hee ha haing through the woods. Like pitch black, there's monsters all around, and you're just going for a little dance. Blue long kilt. Now, okay, so blue should be tied with frost. And as you see, frost element resisted. Very cool. And then this one's red, provides resistance to fire. This one's purple, provides resistance to lightning. So, like, with all the rings and stuff, like, I know the green stuff is, like, also potentially tied to lightning because of the color of the wyvern's scales. But, like, the rings and stuff, it's always purple. So, all these resistance rings, the colors tied to the elements, and it does that on purpose. Alright, that's enough of that. I'm bored.
Thank you very much.
Let's get back to talking to people.
What's that?
They've wares to sell here.
What's this about the pawns? Can't say as I favor their lot much. I only wish I had more. You always... There's just no telling what's in those pawns' heads, eh? And I don't trust anyone who'll happily follow orders to his death. It's unnatural. I only wish I had... You always... There's just no telling what's in those... And I don't trust...
Okay.
I only wish... You always will...
So we get this pretty consistent narrative of people being unsettled by pawns. Because, well, there's sort of an uncanny valley effect where it's like they look like humans, but they just don't act like it. Like there's something off about them.
Greetings.
Oops, didn't mean to steal your pie.
I understand wanting some time by oneself, but taking up in the woods all on your lonesome? Like that witch? Besides which, one lick at a dragon flame and that whole forest is off the map.
Alethea doesn't say anything new. Although, oh man. So I messed up. Selene, if you go into the Witchwood before Call of the Arisen, she has different dialogue, and I forgot about that. I mean, she doesn't say a lot, but basically she's just like, huh, why are you here? And then she thinks, like, maybe the magic of the charms that, like, keep people out is diminished. I dropped the ball on that one. Sorry, guys.
Truth be told, dragons aren't such a terribly rare beast. When our chief was but a minnow, the Duke slew a worm that appeared near these very shores. They visit the mainland from time to time as well, if what I hear can be trusted.
Yeah, I really wish Dragon's Dogma 2 was a setting follow-up to, like, Grancis and this whole continent.
Just what is
Because
your
they
aim,
talk
sir?
a lot about the mainland, but then, you know, we never get to go there. I was really hoping that they would, like, follow up on some of that setup.
A dragon is as a storm, don't you think? It blows in, wreaks its havoc, and then vanishes, quick as it came.
I fear I am remiss in introducing. I am both a servant of the faith and a scholar of man's faith at large. I make no demand of age or origin where rare writings are concerned. If you find such a text, I would eagerly read it.
That line kind of annoys me because there's a lot of times you find ancient texts and he's not an option to bring him to. I wonder if Kina says anything new.
It warms my heart to see those who fled the dragon, even now, return. How fares your wound? Does it still trouble you? The chief is worried. He reasons you mean to leave the village. I think much on the wound the dragon gave you. Sometimes when night comes and sleep escapes me, I fear it has changed you somehow. I know it is folly, but I cannot help myself. If ever you do leave the village, I will look upon that wound as the cause. Benita told me of the flowers you gathered for the wounded. You are kind as ever, cuz.
It's cool that they have that special quest interaction. There's other quests that do that too, like if you complete Kina's quest line, the members of the faith acknowledge it, even like outside of the quote bubble special dialogue stuff. Oh,
How you fare?
Benito will work.
Oh, look, pawns! Them's the real thing? Will they do whatever you please once you gives the word? Some don't care for pawns, but I don't see how they're so bad. And drown me if I wouldn't take a few pawns of me own. I'd put 'em to cooking and cleaning, I would. Yeah, some of the more excitable folks claim pawns for an evil sort. Can't be trusted and all that. But no pawn's never done me ill. Whereas I've had plenty of humans what stabbed me in the back as soon as I turned it. Yeah, some of the more excitable but no.
So Benita is a voice of reason on the pawns, so that's nice. Something I gotta start doing. I gotta start paying attention to the pawn dialogue. There's some juicy lore in the pawn dialogue. So in certain places, like the catacombs and the Blue Moon Tower, almost all of the narrative for those, like the background of those places, is in pawn dialogue. So it's definitely worth paying attention to. There's Adaro. We found him.
First the dragon, then the pawns. The old stories are true. No man can escape once the cycle starts. The dragon arises and pawns soon follow, with a hero to lead them on a campaign of glory. It sounds like a cradle tale, something the minnows like to hear. But that's how Duke Edmund himself got his start in life. Tongues wag with tales of the pawns. Say they come when war is near.
Okay, remember, Myrmidons? The pawns are called Myrmidons. Then we had Marin say that the pawns pop up whenever times are dire. And now we have Adaro saying that pawns come when war is near.
Them poor husks are drawn to that encampment like moths to the flame.
Just what is your aim, sir?
So
Let's be on our
that's
way.
kind of important. I'm pretty sure I already said it, but yeah, there's a line later that sort of explains a piece of the setting that isn't immediately obvious, but Arisen aren't even primarily thought of coming in times of like dragon. They're primarily thought of popping up in times of war. Yeah, that kind of alters the way that alters the popular view of Arisen a little bit. All right, I suppose let's get Madeleine to the encampment. Oh, but first, she also has an official tale. We get 2 for 1. How do you feel about that? Okay, here we go. There's a small abbey in central Grancis which has never been known as anything more than the Abbey. A number of sisters live frugal, modest lives in the abbey. These sisters are ardent followers of the faith, kind and benevolent, and deeply relied upon by the people.
Just what is your
Knowing that the
aim,
sisters
sir?
would never abandon a child,
on our way.
young babes were sometimes left on the steps of the abbey. Madeleine was just such a child. Madeleine was raised as an orphan by the sisters, but in complete contrast to her gentle guardians, she came to hate being poor, and to hate modest living. While she was grateful to the sisters for raising her, she also vowed that she would never serve the faith as they did. Now, I don't think this really comes up much in the actual narrative. However, in her quest, part of it is to get her daggers back, and they are the divine razors, and they have holy symbols on them. So, that kind of explains that a little bit. Even though she's not really fond of that kind of lifestyle, she still holds on to that memory, you know? Anyway, let's head to the encampment. All right. Yeah, another thing that I just like a lot about the whole Cassardis setting is like everybody calling you Minnow, like the specific vernacular of the fishing village is tied to the fact that it's a fishing village. I think that's just like it's something small, but it's just good design, you know?
The roads are safer than the brush, but still, we'd best stay wary.
Also, like I'm pretty sure I got really mad at this quest the first time I had to do it. It's so annoying that she gets distracted by everything.
Hold a moment. There's art here.
Suppose that's how she stocks up on her wares though, you know? Find something shiny on the side of the road, you pick it up.
Hold a moment. There's art here.
Now, occasionally you get pawn dialogue. It took me forever to get it, but there's a little bit that like comments on Madeline, like calls her flighty as a songbird or something like that, which is very apt.
True, but you'll find not. Thank you very much.
Flighty as a songbird.
Aha, gold.
The Duke could stand to
Did it
commission some
again.
new roads.
Now there's a fine treat.
Almost there. Madeline can stop
And
picking
all
things up.
thanks goes to your fine work.
You know, I suppose it's fair. I did drag her around town and make her talk to everyone in the village. So, her stopping to pick up the occasional shiny thing isn't. I guess it's not too bad. I'm kind of annoying too.
This may sound untoward, but have you aught in the way of coin? Please, I must make for the capital, but times are dark and my purse light. It's a terrible curse being poor. Times are it takes all I have just to keep the tears back. Will you spare some gold? I would repay you, of course. At some point. Most likely.
I guess we gotta pay our medieval e-girl.
I am so very
How
much
else
in
will
love with
she
you in this
survive?
moment. A woman's heart is a dangerous creature, but you know well how to tame it. Oft has it been said a poor life is a happy one. I have never found this to be true. If ever fortune sees you to Grand Sorin and me to setting up my shop, you must come visit. I shall even give you a discount. You'll find naught but the finest
Dang it, I
wares.
skipped the small one. I feel like Madeline is like one of the best acted characters in the game. Like just the little line delivery, like when when she's like trying to remind you who she is. The you, the fact that like she gets so exhausted with you, she's Madeline. You know, it's great.
Thank you very much.
Also, like the effect on the Heaven's Key daggers is so cool. I mean, all the Ur Dragon weapons, the Ascalon. I kind of wish that the Heaven's Key in Dragon's Dogma 2 wasn't just like shiny. Like I wish it had special effects, but that's okay. All right, back to Cassardis. We ain't done. Oh yeah. Also, there were more notice board quests. Gotta check those out. Might be something juicy. I don't think they're gonna be juicy, but we'll check. Eradication. Neat. Hold on. There we go. Yeah, this is one of those cookie cutter descriptions. Like they don't even bother to tell you what you're killing. It's like, hey, yeah, here's the kill stuff quest. We'll take it anyway. Escort quest. This is another cookie cutter description. I know not why, just that I must go there. Oh, this one's actually different. There's a place I'm longing to explore, but it's filled with far too many beasts for me to handle. Why don't you come with me, cuz? You've grown so strong. I reckon you could take on anything. I haven't much to offer in return, but consider it, would you? Fight as I might, wanderlust burns hard as dragon's breath within my breast. All that stays my departure now is want for a traveling companion. I feel like I don't remember that one being cookie cutter. But also, Inez doesn't, like, that just doesn't fit her character. I'll do these, and we'll kind of just, I'll edit around them. It'll be alright. Oh, so, escort quests happen with any NPC automatically, whenever you get their affinity to a certain level. That even includes, Sophia, Selene's gran. So I did that once to see if she has like special dialogue or anything. She doesn't. Like, I think that was genuinely an oversight from the devs. Because when you talk to Sophia for the escort quest, she just has generic dialogue. And I might be misremembering this because it's been a while, but I don't think her voice actor was even the same. Like, they literally went as rando as possible for Sophia. So, like, I don't think we were supposed to do that. You play with stuff, you break things. That's the best thing to do in an RPG, is to break it. Where's Iola going? This crazy old lady! Alright, that's enough. You lost your walking privileges. Oh, she's feisty. Okay, fine. You regained them. But you gotta hurry. I don't think we even have to worry about this. I love how far the goblins fly. So silly. I like that if you take the time to look around, were you playing this for the first time, you would look off in the distance and you see the Blue Moon Tower, and you would wonder, I wonder if I can go there. And then you go there. And then the capital is already right there. So, like, you can see most of the places that you're going to end up going. I mean, obviously, except for the stuff over there. But, like, some of the important places you see right from the start. I feel like that's cool. It, gives you a sense of what's to come. Okay, now that we finished Iola's quest, we got another one, because so many people love me, because I talk to so many people. Another one, The Land Where Dreams Will Come True. That's where I'm headed. Want to come along? The descriptions for a lot of these escort quests really just don't match the destination, and that's okay, I guess. I usually just don't bother, because, I mean, frankly, right away at the beginning of the game, running back and forth between the warrior's departure and Cassardis is like kind of obnoxious. But there are also tricky ways to use escort quests for characters that go away during a certain part of the quest, or during a certain part of the storyline. It's a good way to get their dialogue that they would have. It's not worth much more than that. I'm gonna save the rest of these escort quests for when I'm not recording, because this is taking a long time, and I don't want it anymore. I wonder if we can sort of cheat, and, like, I know we're after Call of the Arisen, but I think as long as it's before we do Kina's quest, where she gets lost in the woods, we might be able to get Selene's dialogue. So I'm gonna try and do that. Alright, heading into the Witchwood. Witchwood? The Witchwood. The Witchwood is also one of the locations that has a special bio from Capcom. The Witchwood's not far from Cassardis, and for years the mysterious witch herself would come to the village, offering healing potions and other concoctions. I myself remember taking the medicines she conjured when I was but a minnow. But one day the forest became shrouded in a thick, impenetrable mist. Mayhap the witch conjured it as payback for some slight. But all we Cassardis know is that no one saw her again. No doubt the truth still resides somewhere within those misty woods. But considering how many people have disappeared there, few have the courage to brave its strange mystery. And that quote is attributed to Adaro. So then, there's some goofy theories about Sophia being like thousands of years old or whatever. And she died like a long time ago. But yeah, that's not the case. She was coming to Cassardis at least within Adaro's lifespan. So like within the last 50 years or so. Also, here are those charms that they were talking about. Hey, I was looking at that! Dang it! Gosh, I'm so cross with you. Come on. Okay. Well, if you look at those little medals, they have the elemental symbol for darkness on them. As does a lot of... Oh, hi Wolf. As does a lot of, like, generic magic stuff. Which sort of leads you to the assumption that magic originates from the rift. Because the dark symbol is also a symbol for the rift. Or at the very least, the base element to magic is dark. Even if it doesn't technically deal dark damage, its base element is dark. But given the complex narrative use of the rift, it kind of ends up being sort of a catch-all source of everything supernatural. Souls come from the rift, monsters come from the rift. So it would fit, if you ask me, that magic would originate also from the rift. Man, the Witchwood is such a vibe. I like it a lot. Ooh, hey, there's another thing. Maybe we can look at this before Bro Flexman smashes it. Yeah, see, look. Ooh. Oh, dang it! What the heck? Stupid goats! Yeah. Okay, so something that I didn't notice before that made me say, ooh, not only does it have the dark symbol on it, it has the print version of the magic runes, like, emanating from it. Which I think is cool.
What else would you expect? With my help?
Let's go see Selene. Now, interestingly, Selene does not have a character bio. I mean, I suppose she's kind of a character that, if you included one, it might spoil too much. Although, I don't know, I feel like you could work around it. Hey, where's that girl? Oh, there she is.
Gran
I don't know.
spoke of this, said not to speak with you, with people from beyond the wood.
This looks interesting.
Others rarely come. When they do, they frighten me. I hid away. Why is it now? Why do you not frighten me?
I wonder what's in...
Why is it now? Why do you...
So we did miss her. We missed her dialogue. That's okay, I guess. Yeah, we'll see more of her later. Do you remember, like, okay, so I assume, like, everybody that's watching this has, like, already played all the way through the game and knows, at least most of the stuff, so I don't feel too bad throwing out spoilers. But do you remember the first time you played this game and, like, was the reveal that Selene was a pawn kind of, like, shocking to you? Because I don't know, for me, it like probably should have been more shocking, but I was just like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Like, I don't know. Like, I just vibed with it for some reason.
I wonder what's inside.
Tactical port crystal. It is interesting that the whole narrative of like the bestowal of spirit is tied to a side quest. That's kind of what I mean when I say that like the side quests are just main quests that you don't technically have to do. Because like they're all so intricately tied to the main narrative. Like there's very few that aren't. Like the well, the one in the well, we don't that one doesn't really have any narrative significance. It's kind of just a thing to do, a place to explore. But for the most part, like the side quests deal heavily with the overall narrative of like what's going on with the government, what's going on with different religions, you know, the faith versus salvation. Salvation is like a driving point in like all the happenings in Grancis right now, and a lot of that stuff is tied to side quests. Or like the random Elysian encounter in Cassardis, where most people just go and talk to Mercedes again because, you know, you got to clear the green bubbles uh, instead of going back home. All right, I said we would do this quest, but actually, we'll save that for next time. Yeah, so more yapping about colors and elements. We visited the Witchwood. We got 3 Capcom bios today. So, spoiled when it comes to that. That's a big one. So, that'll do it. Thanks for hanging out, guys. I always appreciate your comments and discussion. I was really, like, honestly, I was expecting more conversation on the colors elements thing in the last episode. Just because, like, when I discovered that, I was like, whoa! Like that blew me away. Like, how consistently throughout that is. Like, it's just, I don't know. That was something that blew me away, but like I also recognize that I'm more of a turbo nerd than a lot of people, and that's okay. You know, we all get excited about different things, but yeah. So I honestly, more than anything, I'm just happy that you guys are here. You know, do all the funny YouTube stuff, like, comment, subscribe, do a handstand, do a backflip. If you know how to juggle, do that. We're gonna keep trucking along with this, and I'll see you in the next one. Till next we meet, one foot after the next, come what may.